I just squatted 225 pause for the first time, in about 9 months.
Daniel came to me with a back injury that started while lifting heavy at a meet and continued to get worse over time.
I was probably like a 9 out of 10. It got so bad, just reaching to wipe off my kitchen table was becoming difficult. Even just a regular hip hinge was becoming painful. And sitting on the bottom of like just an air squat was difficult as well and very uncomfortable.
In today's video, you're going to see the evaluation I took him through and see how I evaluate patients with a movement-based system, specifically trying to find his exact triggers for pain and classify him into one or more of these specific categories. This method is more efficient for helping us drive treatment than only looking at an MRI. One of the first tests I learned from back expert Dr. Stuart McGill had Daniel pull upwards while in a seated position to mimic a compressive load on his spine. He had a small amount of pain in this posture and also with an extended spine posture. But listen in to the next part.
Round your back. Now pull straight up.
Oh yeah,
That's even worse.
yeah.
Therefore, part of Daniel's symptoms fit within a flexion intolerance category, as loading his back in a rounded or flexed position leads to more symptoms. Next, listen into some dynamic loading tests.
Hold it straight out in front and take 5 deep breaths in and out. Does that increase pain at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel more pain.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what you're gonna do next. I want you to breathe into my fingers and push away.
Okay.
This is how you're gonna brace. You're gonna breathe out, brace as hard as you can, now lift. Is that better?
Yeah.
Less pain?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, back down. Next one, I want you to come up on your toes, and I want you to smack your heels down as hard as you can. Anything at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do is the exact same thing. So you're gonna breathe into my fingers, tight, same thing.
Not too bad.
So breathing and bracing correctly takes away your pain with the heel drop.
Let me show you anatomically using this model from Dynamic Disc Designs exactly what was going on during that heel drop test. So if you look at this model, this area is not damaged, this area is not damaged, but this particular segment of the spine has a little bit of instability. Now during that dynamic drop test, what he was doing was placing a load on his spine, and watch what happens. There's a lot of movement excessively, not from this part, but from this particular segment, meaning that there was a shear load applied to his spine that was leading and generating micro movements that generated pain. However, when he braced his core and created a little bit more stability and stiffness in his torso, the drop led to a little bit more of a balanced loading on his spine and no more pain. So core stability decreased the amount of shear loading at a particular segment that was generating pain, and now there was more stiffness in the spine and less micro movements out of that optimal positioning.
His movement diagnosis could therefore be seen as a flexion and load intolerance. Our first step was to work on avoiding painful triggers during his day, such as kneeling instead of bending forward with his spine to pick up laundry, and stop lifting for a short time, as even holding that small 20-pound kettlebell was enough load to trigger his pain. He would start with the McGill Big 3 combination of exercises to instill core stability around the spine in a 360-degree manner, much like guy wires that hold up a radio tower. Listen in on how I taught the modified curl up to him.
So from right here, the first step has to be proper breathing and bracing. Now you said you're used to pushing out with your stomach. We need to work on expanding laterally, not pushing out. Okay. So when you do this, I don't want to see your stomach rise. Okay? My thumbs are in your sides. I want you to push out to the sides. Yep, not forward.
I
Push
know,
out.
that's hard.
It's tough for you. Okay? So push out to the sides. Push here. And there you go.
Okay.
Good. Now tight. Good. Now lift your head just slightly. 10-second hold. Even less than that. Good. Take small sips of air in and out of your mouth like you have a straw in your mouth. And then you relax back down. That's tough, huh?
That's really tough.
Yeah. So what that means is that your bracing mechanics are suboptimal for creating stability at your spine.
Okay.
You're great at pushing your stomach out.
Yeah.
So a lot of powerlifters do that, right? They try to get that power belly.
Yeah.
They think breathing into the stomach is literally expanding just forward. It's not.
Okay.
That's only part of it. And if you do it too much, you're completely neglecting the 360 degrees of compression that we're trying to create with the trunk. The abdominals are only, especially the front side, that's only a small fraction of the entire orchestra, which is your core stability. They all have to work together. But right now, you're really, really good at getting part of it to play, and the rest are just drowning out.
Yeah, that was really hard to do.
Over the next few visits, we also included exercises like offset walks. This is an exercise I learned from Dr. Andrew Locke. The shaking off-balance weight that's hanging only on one side helps improve proprioceptive awareness and rebuild your stability in a different way than most exercises. Those who have back pain automatically lose their sense of position. So basically, they can't tell if they're in a good or bad position. So doing an offset walk like this challenges the body to sense for the position of their spine and enhance spinal stability. We then got under the bar and worked on his approach to lifting. As Brian Carroll says, learning to set the wedge. Listen in on my cues.
I need you pulling back, down, creating tremendous stiffness in your upper back, getting yourself organized, stiff, big breath, brace, then stand up. You don't want to get up, walk out, and then try to get stiff. Does that make sense? So work on your walk out, take your 2 steps back, and then you're just going to pause. Good. Nice and strong. Good. Up, 2 steps back. Okay, now set yourself up in your good position. Okay, from here, same thing. Expand into the stomach, tight. Then start your squat by opening at the hips. Control down, stay stiff, back up.
Over the next few weeks, we worked on slowly reapplying load to the bar and even using some fun tools like a bamboo bar from Bandbell that led the weights to bounce around slightly, increasing the stability demand of the movement. Eventually, he was able to get up to over 200 pounds and even hit 225 for a pause squat without any pain at all. Here's some of his thoughts right after.
If you had any advice for other powerlifters dealing with back pain, what would that be?
Listen to your body. I absolutely love this sport, but I think a lot of times people don't understand this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And everyone wants to get those big numbers at the meets all the time. But if you don't listen to your body, correct the things that need to be corrected, you're never going to get to that finish line.
And so before we were at like 9 out of 10 pain.
Yeah.
And now how are you feeling walking around and squatting?
Oh, fantastic. 0 out of 10.
That's awesome.